What sucks when you get married? For better or worse includes the worse. When your spouse has a chronic health issue, a mental health issue, substance abuse problems, you have committed to be there for at least a reasonable effort in carrying through it together. That can be taxing beyond belief. Yeah, a dead kid, and a lot of mental health issues later, we're still hanging on to each other for dear life. But we ain't the people we were when we got married. There's an episode of Mad About You where Jamie has good news, but Paul got devastated by losing a job, or maybe it was the other way around. Anyway, Jamie struggles at first, but ultimately decides to put her celebratory mood away and just be present with Paul. That's not what marriage should always look like, but it does show the kind of selflessness that makes things work, when both people are doing that for each other. Finding out that your in-laws, who put up with you and tried to act nice till you got married, are really assholes that normal people don't want to deal with. My buddy invited me to 2 BBQs weekends, one right after the other, and told me if I could only make one, make the second one. He invited the in-laws to the first and warned people. It was sort of like an aquarium. People were watching them. One guy kept bringing up gold, and I didn't understand until the father-in-law went off that gold was a scam, that Fort Knox was robbed long ago, etc., etc. Second weekend was twice as packed with a much more diverse crowd. If it's forever, one of you is likely to die first. It wasn't me. Sorry for your loss. This is really the most legitimate answer. Sorry for your loss. I think this story from Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl might make you feel better. Once, an elderly general practitioner consulted me because of his severe depression. He could not overcome the loss of his wife who had died 2 years before and whom he had loved above all else. Now how can I help him? What should I tell him? Well, I refrained from telling him anything, but instead confronted him with the question, "What would have happened, doctor, if you had died first, and your wife would have had to survive you?" "Oh," he said, "for her this would have been terrible. How she would have suffered." Whereupon I replied, "You see, doctor, such a suffering has been spared her, and it was you who have spared her this suffering. To be sure, at the price that now you have to survive and mourn her." He said no word but shook my hand and calmly left my office. In some way, suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning, such as the meaning of a sacrifice. It sucks when you're partner and sometimes you get too comfortable and complacent. You start slacking on the little things that matter to each other. No one likes to have to remind their partner to do things they used to do automatically. It's worse when one person slacks and the other doesn't. There are so many things where my wife and I are supposed to alternate with: date nights, vacations, getting up with the kids, intimacy. But I do half, and she never reciprocates. Like you said, it's tough to remind your partner. You either feel awkward asking for expected behavior, or feel like you're nagging. Thank you very much for watching. Write in the comments about your cases.